biggest lesson you learned about your team from last year would be what?
Last year we just didn't finish well. I thought our kids were prepared, but we just didn't finish well. So we did some different things this offseason to kind of get them prepared in the second half of the games.
When you look at this season, specifically region play, I know a lot of folks look at DeKalb County and they'll look at other places. They'll look at Cobb and Gwinnett and all that kind of stuff. I think DeKalb County rivalries kind of get lost in the sauce a little bit sometimes. So when it comes to DeKalb County football, how would you best describe what you have to go through running through gauntlets of the teams here in the area that you're in region with?
I mean, it's highly competitive, it's very tough. Every year in our region, we have Stevenson, Tucker, and so, having a state champion and a perennial powerhouse is always a tough deal to go through every year. So we got to bring our lunch pail every day to get better, every week.
Expectations this year for you are what?
The expectations are the playoffs. It's year 3 for me, and our guys, we had some sophomores that started 3 years ago. They're seniors now, and so we're high on those guys. We think those guys will do really well for us, and we're hoping to get in the playoffs. That's the goal.
And when you look at things from when you started as a head coach to now, I mean, the game has changed from a coaching perspective, even in the last couple of years. What are some of the biggest changes that you've experienced as a head coach last handful of seasons?
I think the rules changed. Just trying to teach our kids to do different things different ways. Now this year we're going to the 40-second clock, so you're not able to kind of milk it anymore. You got to everybody's kind of in the tempo. And just the blind side blocking. Now you get 15 and things like that. So it's always a rule to try to find the rules are what's kind of predict the game these days.
So then, if you were king for a day, and I mean that wearing the crown and being in charge, not MLK, but if you were in charge of everything football for a day, is there one thing that concerns you more than anything else that you would change? What would you change?
That's a good question. I've always, on Friday nights I have a lot of complaints, and now I was having a tough time. But I would just think that just more of an open policy with the officials. It's hard to kind of talk to the guys, understand that what are some of the calls they're making, and then the ability not to change them. Like we can't challenge anything. Sometimes with some questionable calls, and they're human beings, and so it's never personal towards officials, but we would like to understand what was going on sometimes in those situations without having to call a timeout.
Like the Denzel Washington situation, remember the Titans where he's up over the official's shoulder going, he lined up,
Yeah.
One of those?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. We would say, hey, sometimes you can look and that guy standing next to you, they see 2 different things. So it's always good to have instead of pair of eyes and just have a good dialogue with the official association.
One of the other parts of DeKalb County, the football experience that I don't think a lot of folks get to see are the bands. And when you look at Southwest DeKalb, you look at Tucker, you look at the Kings at halftime, I think it's something that's really special that a lot of folks don't necessarily get to experience full time. What do the Kings of halftime mean to the Football Friday experience?
That mean a great deal. I tell our band every day all the time, keep playing. We're doing offense and defense. People come to see the band. I think one time we had a game and the referee was like, tell your band to be quiet. I said, that's the best band in the land. They came to play. People came to hear them. So I enjoy it. I think it makes the game a lot better to hear the bands going back and forth, and it just creates a good competitive atmosphere everywhere.